A pleasant good morning and happy Monday. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. You know, we made it. We are here. Many people did not make it, but we are here, so to God be all the glory. Amen? Amen. This morning I'll be talking to us and with us on the topic of prayer. Prayer changes things. Now, not every prayer changes things. You know, Philippians 4:6 tells us to be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let our requests be made known unto the Lord. James 5:15 says, and the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And if he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. And verse 16, the effectual and fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. That is the type of prayer that will change things. And you know, yesterday I had an opportunity to visit a former colleague's church, and the message he spoke on was from 2 Kings chapter 20, and it was from verse 1 to about 12, and it was about Hezekiah. And I started to wonder when I got home. I researched, because we know that Hezekiah prayed. There was a time when he was like at death's door, and the prophet Isaiah came to him and told him, hey, thus said the Lord, get your house in order, for you shall die and not live. So what Hezekiah did, he turned his face against the wall and he started praying, honey. And before the prophet got into the outer court or the inner court of the palace, God answered, God heard his prayer, and God told Isaiah to turn back and go to Hezekiah. Now that is a quick word, a quick answer. Say, go back and let him know that God will deliver him, God will heal him, and God will deliver the city of Jerusalem. And in case you don't know, Hezekiah, he was the king of Judah. He started his reign at the age of 25, and he reigned, I think, for 29 years. And the scripture said that Hezekiah did what was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David did. He removed the high places and break down the images and cut down the groves, and he break in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made, that the children of Israel started to, burn incense and started to worship. You know what they used to do back in the day. But Hezekiah trusted in the Lord, the God of Israel. And scriptures also tells us that there was not a king like him before him or after him. And he claved. That means he cleaved on to the Lord. And he did not depart from following God and the commandments that were given to Moses under that covenant. And scriptures further tells us about Hezekiah that the Lord was with him, and that he rebelled against the king of Syria. And listen, the king of Syria was stressing Hezekiah right out. Just about every day he's sending messages to him, telling the people to not to follow Hezekiah, and how he conquered all these different kingdoms and all that, and trying to solicit the people so that they will come and join him. But Hezekiah told his people not to respond. So one time, on one occasion, Hezekiah received a letter from the king. I think the king of Assyria was something cherub, Sennacherib. And listen, when Hezekiah got that letter, Hezekiah took that letter to the house of the Lord and he prayed, honey. And God answered his prayer like almost instantly. So listen, people, if you want your prayer to be answered, if you want to change, if you want your prayers to change things, you got to do things God's way. You got to follow his commands. You got to do the things that are pleasing in his sight. You know what Jesus said? Jesus said, I know you hear me. I know you hear me. So when he prayed, he knew that God will answer. So if we want our prayers to be answered, we could follow. Let me tell you, some scriptures were given for us, for our learning, for our reproof. These scriptures were given for us. And we can follow this pattern. Hezekiah did what was right in the sight of God. Are we doing what is right? Jesus gave us some very, very simple instructions and some very, very hard ones. Those ones on forgiveness and how you gotta love your enemy and how you gotta feed them if they're hungry and give them to drink if they're thirsty, and how if your brother have aught against you, you have to leave a gift at the altar, go reconcile, and how you have to forgive, and how if somebody borrow from you, you don't go back to them for it. You don't ask them for it. That's right. That's right. Are you doing what Jesus said? And Hezekiah, he break down those high places. Now, we may not have high places today. I'm sure maybe in other religions may have. But listen, you could have a high place in your life. All them material stuff that you like so much. All them children you love more than you love God. All the money that you worship and that you exalt and put in a place where only God should be. And some of us, I won't say us, but some people love themselves. I mean, they do everything. They put Botox in their face. They put Botox in their backside. They do everything to make themselves look good. And even to preserve themselves. And hey, listen, if that's your forte, that's your forte. But my point is that God, the Bible tells us to love the Lord our God with all our hearts, with all our minds, with all our soul, and with all our strength. We can't put anything in his place, because guess what? God isn't going to tolerate any rivals. God don't play second base, honey. And another thing Hezekiah did, Hezekiah trusted in the Lord. Yes, he trusted in the Lord. And not only did he trust in the Lord, and the Bible tells us also to trust in the Lord with all our hearts and to lean not to our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge him and he will direct our path. And he clave to the Lord, following, and he departed not from following him. Listen, we got to follow Jesus. We have to follow Jesus. If we are not following Jesus, we are following someone else or something else. And to follow Jesus means to just do his will. Walk as he walked. Live as he lived. And the Bible tells us also that God was with him and he prospered wherever he went. And he rebelled against the Syrians. You know, we got to rebel against evil. We got to rebel against blasphemy. Because, I mean, this reminded me what the Syrians were doing to Hezekiah, reminded me of what Goliath was doing to the Israelites. Every day he was coming out, intimidating until David had to put him to rest. David had to hey, you nobody can defy my God and get away with it. I come against you in the name of the Lord. And he just swing that, people that stone and that swing, in that sling, and he whap! One blow to the head. And he got his sword, he cut off the giant head with his own sword. So we got to rebel. And let me get back to Hezekiah. Hezekiah, when he turned his back to that wall and he started praying, God heard his prayer instantly. And I want you to hear this, how Hezekiah prayed. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, this is how Hezekiah prayed. I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. That's all he prayed. That's all he prayed, and that is so powerful that this goes to show that, hey, we have to have a record with God. You can't just go pray, oh Lord, blah, blah, blah. What could God remember of us? What can God remember of us? Can we say, Father, remember how I live for you, all the sacrifices I've made for you? Can we say that? You know, some people would say it, but you know what Jesus said? Many can say, Lord, 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 haven't we prophesied in your name? Haven't we done this in your name? And Jesus said, I never knew you. Depart from me. I never knew you. I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart. Are we truthful? Do we guard our heart? Because you know what the Bible tells us about the heart. Above all things, the heart is desperately wicked. And if we don't put some control on the heart and guard it, that's lights out, honey. No good thing will come out of this heart. And the Bible, Jesus tells us, you know, that what defiles a man, not what goes in, but what comes out. All those thoughts, all the hatred, the malice, the envy, the murder, it comes from inside the heart. And not this physical heart. This your mind, your thoughts. That's where it comes from. Remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is right in thy sight. have done. You know, the Bible tells us not to be hearers only, but to be doers. Are we doing the word? Jesus tells us this is how you will know, others will know that you are my disciples, when you have love. You got to love. Love is action, honey. Love is action. You can't say you love me and I'm cold and you don't give me a coat. Or I'm hungry and you don't give me something to eat. The sinners do better than that. They just look out for each other, honey. You see those guys on the bar, they'll buy you something to drink quick and then they'll buy you something to eat. So we got to be doers. Not hearers only, but doers. We got to be doers of the word. Jesus said his commandments, what he gave us, easy, and his burdens are light. So I hope that you would take something from this little teaching this morning and apply it to your life so that you can have answered prayers and that your prayer can change your situation. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed us yet, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell, honey. And I'll see you next time. So God bless you. Have a wonderful day or evening. And peace out from the 242, honey.